in your practice.
I see
And
dead people.
right,
I
you
see
see that.
it. You know what? I see sometimes I see hate-filled marriages,
Mm,
and people are scared to leave those situations, even though it's toxic. And
mm,
people can put themselves in a self-imposed incarceration in a relationship that doesn't work for them. And it's like processing all of those feelings that you have. I mean, it's a very difficult decision to dissolve a situation. There's a lot of guilt and fear and insecurities that keep people together, where it's not healthy for either one of them. And people just are insecure, and that's why they stay in situations that don't help them. They're overwhelmed just by the thought of separating when they know that the relationship doesn't work for them. So it's a tough decision either way. Like getting married and adjusting to marriage is a tough transition. Transitioning through, dissolving a relationship, that's another tough transition. I mean, that's what life is about. And I think it's just important to gather inspiration from other issues,
mm.
instances, as much as you can. So we can learn from Tisha Campbell's statement. That's
I
how I
think
see
I
it.
think we I think we can, but I think that there is something to be said about um, getting all of our lessons from celebrities when we should be getting our lessons from experts or people who have been successful at what we're seeking to do. I don't even believe that a marriage therapist is the best person to get marriage advice from. I don't. I think marriage therapists can be beneficial for sure. There's a lot of
Mhm.
research and everything else. I wanted to talk to a married couple. I wanted
Right.
to I wanted to talk to couples that actually did it. It's one thing if somebody teaches you how to run. It's another thing if somebody says, I completed a marathon and let me tell you all the stuff that you'll never learn in a book. And so, it's to me, it's a matter of going into that space where your ability and your decision to stick to the commitment or to stick to the decision that you made, um, how committed are you to that decision? What does commitment mean to you? For some people,
Mhm.
commitment means I'm going to stay married, or I'm going to stay together as long as they treat me well, or I'm going to stay in this relationship as long as I'm happy and comfortable. I'm going to stay in this relationship as long as I'm not stressed out or whatever.
Okay,
And this is well, let me say this
I
because
got something to say about
I know
that.
I know we're going to disagree on this. We're going to disagree because I know I think I know what you're going to say on this, but I was raised when I asked my father, I said, how did you stay married for 50 years? My parents are having their 50th year wedding anniversary this year, 50 years. And I watched all 50 years. And I can tell you that there are no textbooks out there that can describe how my parents made it through these 50 years. Now, if you were to ask both of my parents, are you happy that you made it 50 years? Both of them would say absolutely yes. Now, what's interesting to me, and I want you to I want to hear your perspective on this,
Yeah.
is that there will be people who would say, well, no, your mother really isn't happy. She just pretends to be happy because your dad cheated and she should have left him 30 years ago. There might be somebody who says that. Or somebody else might say, yeah, your dad says he's happy, but really he ain't happy because when he was young, he could have been free of and not getting been nagged every day and not have to deal with all the ups and downs of marriage. He could have been marrying a single mom. You hear men talk about men who marry single mothers. My mother was a single mother. My father married her. So there are lots of men who would say, no, your dad, he ain't glad he did it. He was simping, right? So again, I'm not saying there's a right or wrong. I think that there is no right or wrong. I think it's a matter of choosing your individual values and deciding what matters to you. What do you think about what I just said?
Okay, yeah, I think that we have to look at the definition of commitment. Commitment doesn't mean I'm going to be married to this person no matter what. That's, to me, I think I look at that as a lack of commitment. There's no commitment when you say I'm just going to be married to this person, and this I don't care what they do to me. They could cheat on me, they can beat on me, they can be toxic to me. I'm still going to stay married to that person. That's not commitment. Actually, that's a lack of commitment. When the word commitment is used, it means to be committed to a healthy situation, not one that's toxic and uncaring. You want to be committed to a thriving marriage instead of just being committed to a marriage, even though you're just surviving it. So there's a difference there. I think a survival marriage there's a lack of commitment there. Even though the person is still legally married to each other, it's being committed to a healthy relationship. I think that needs to be added at the end of that. And I don't know, I can't speak on your parents. I don't know their relationship, but I can speak on the definition of commitment. So commitment is being committed to a healthy relationship and doing what you need to do to grow, to understand each other, to become better as individuals toward each other, to love each other, not just a feeling, but in action, and consider all of those healthy behaviors and interactions. That's a commitment. But
Okay.
being toxic and mean and abusive, there's no commitment there, even though you're still married.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna let you get the last word. I'm gonna let you, like, because we're a married couple and we don't agree on everything, and I want to I think it's okay to talk about this. So, and I'm not gonna disagree or dispute anything you're saying because I know that
Yeah.
we have to finish up because I know you're gonna go on with Fly New being queen in a
Yeah.
second. Yeah, and so um, here's what I'll say: you're right in this, or I agree with you in this sense that you want to aim for a happy, prosperous, thriving, growing marriage. But
Committed.
I'm also a realist in that I know that every day ain't gonna be sunshine and rainbows, and also there's gonna be times where even if your partner isn't intending to be toxic towards you, sometimes
Mhm.
you may feel hurt by their behavior, and you can try to work it out. You try to talk it out, but sometimes it may not work out.